Okay, let's talk about fees and payment collections. As a school owner, you want to keep track of every single payment coming into your school, whether it is for school fees, lesson fees, medicals, anything, any type of fee at all. You want to always keep track of these fees coming in, right? Edumanager does not just help you keep track of these fees, it also help you to collect the fees so that the parents or the students can pay from the comfort of their homes. And it actually, you can actually set it up to send timely reminders to these parents so as to notify them when their fee payment is due. So let me walk you through the process of setting up the fee collection system. So to do that, you start by clicking on the sidebar and then go to the payment options. Under payment, you see fees, click on fees, right? So you have to set up the fees that you collect for this to work. So let's say we want to set up fees that are being paid by classes in junior classes. So for example, let's say for example, all the students in GSS, in all the students in GS 1, 2, and 3 pay the same amount of fees. You can set it up the same. But if you have different fee for GS 1 and different fee for GS 2, the system also allows you to set it up the way it should be. So let's start with this one and then you get to understand it as we move on. So let's say the fee title is school fees, right? That is the school fees, the normal school fees everybody collects. And let's say, for example, the amount is 10,000. So everybody pays 10,000 for school fees, right? And the fee is to be paid termly and is for the first term of 2023-2024 section. This is just an example, right? Edumanager allows you to set up the different line items. It allows you to list the different line items that make up the fee. For example, we have these school fees could contain, let's say, tuition fee among these is 4,000, and then let's say medicals takes up let's say 2,000, right? And then sanitation, I'm adding extra things. Sanitation, right, takes up another, let's say 1,000, right? And then let's say one final one that makes up the final thing. Let's say library. So what we have here is total of 7,000. So let's say library takes up the remaining 3,000. So with this, you are now able to list out the items that make up your fee, so that when you generate your receipt, parents can see these school fees that we are charging you. Look at what made it up. Look at the items that made it up. So I'll be able to, so that the receipt itself will be self-explanatory. Now remember that this fee is to be paid by only GS1, GS2, and GSS3. So we have to indicate this category of students that are meant to pay these fees at this point. So we'll click on add category, right? Now, if this fee is to be paid by all students, you select all students. But this is not the case, right? If it's going to buy by a specific class of people, you can select class here and then select the class. But instead of selecting class, you can use the bigger one, which is the class group. What is class group? So in many schools or in some schools, you can have JS1A, JS1B, JS1C. They are all classes. JS1A, JS1B, JS1C, they are classes, but they fall under the same class group called JS1. That is what the class group they fall under. So what you are supposed to do is, since this covers JS1, JS2, and JS3, it doesn't matter if they have JS1A, JS1B, JS1C, they have JS2A, JS2B, JS2C. It doesn't matter. Just select the class group that make it up. Once you select the class group, you'll now be able to select the class group of the students that you want to select. So let's say this fee is to be paid by JSS1 and maybe SS1, right? Just select the class group involved. That's all, right? Now, or let's use a more practical example. A more practical example, let's say this fee is to be paid by all SS students, right? SS1, SS2, and SS3. So you can come here and say, okay, this fee is to be paid by SS1, is to be paid by SS2, and it's also paid by SS3, right? And so you pay by SS2, SS1, SS2, and SS3 are covered in this fee, right? So, and you can see I've selected it and it have indicated the classes of students that are supposed to that this fee is meant for, right? And once you have selected it, we can even give this name a more a better description and say senior school fees, right? Senior class school fees, right? So with this, we have been able to set up a descriptive, well-organized fee setup that once an SS1 student comes in, he knows that this is the fee I'm supposed to pay, and he knows where this fee is coming from, right? Once you click that and you click on the submit button, it sets up the fee.